Super Tuesday lived up to its word. And this was a super night for our candidate, John Kerry, and a super night for the Democratic Party. He's a super nominee.
I believe that in 2004, one united Democratic Party, we can and we will win this election.
What would you say would be Senator Kerry's one or two major weak points that could be exploited?
The presidential hopeful has missed every one of the 22 roll call votes in the Senate this year, but hasn't missed a paycheck.
He talks about trying to protect the taxpayers every single day, and here he is fleecing the taxpayers out of $150,000 a year.
So do you think he should step down, Dominic, when he's running for president?
The controversy over John Kerry and his Vietnam War medals has just gotten worse. He says he never suggested he threw them away, but the videotape does not lie.
Ribbons or medals? Which did John Kerry throw away after he returned from Vietnam? His perceived disrespect for the military could be more damaging to the candidate than questions about his actions in uniform.
Many are angry over Kerry's post-war protests.
But the bigger issue here is Kerry's involvement in a group that's inherently violent.
Presumptive Democratic nominee John Kerry was scaring old people, as usual, with the predictable Democratic line. He said President Bush will cut off their entitlement checks. It isn't true, but the lie has worked well for Democrats in the past.
Assuming that the unthinkable happens and that Senator Kerry becomes president.
You're watching Fox News, real journalism, fair and balanced.
They will give you the almost the full Bush stump speech, no matter where it is, and no matter how many times they've shown it. Cut live to these campaign rallies as if there was going to be real news in them, as if Bush was going to say anything earth-shattering.
And your ability to make good decisions, like marrying your wife, Carolyn.
Fox portrays his every action as a heroic move, as something dramatic and significant. I imagine it's pretty hard for the Fox producers. Some days George Bush doesn't do anything interesting, and yet they've got to find something that makes him heroic that day.
Most people just started waking up and saying, oh, you mean we don't have the fairness doctrine anymore? I can't tell you how many times when I was a political candidate running for office, I would have somebody come up to me on the street and say, now I saw your opponent on TV the other day. Aren't they supposed to give you equal time? And I didn't even know for years that we lost that in the Reagan era, that for years we haven't had the ability to expect both sides to be adequately covered.
Clearly, on the Republican side, what we do know is that for years they have coordinated what they call their message of the day. So you'll hear on the floor of the House, you'll hear on Rush Limbaugh, you'll hear on Fox and Rupert Murdoch's network, the issue of the day, which they will pound away at, which then creates the echo chamber, which resonates throughout America.
Here's what he said. I actually did vote for the $87 billion before I voted against it.
Senator Kerry recently said, quote, I actually did vote for the $87 billion before I voted against it. End quote.
Kerry, starting to feel the heat for his flip-flop voting record, is in West Virginia.
Is President Bush doing a good job of defining Kerry as a flip-flopper?
And you're saying he flip-flopped on the issue of this?
Because he does seem to agonize and flip-flop over and over and over again.
He's flip-flopped on all these issues.
Beneath Kerry's flip-flopping
is an opportunistic flip-flopper.
You're talking flip-flops.
New brand of summer footwear, John Kerry flip-flops.
They say that he flip-flops a lot.
So he's flip-flopped now on every major issue.
Would those be the flip-flops?
Because he's flip-flopped on everything else.
Is Senator Kerry guilty of flip-flopping on the issue?
Flip-flops like crazy.
First of all, flip-flop.
You've seen him flip-flop on a whole variety of issues.
Opportunistic flip-flopper who doesn't have any principles. Is that a little harsh?
I think it shows one thing, the weakness of John Kerry.
You're watching Fox News, real journalism, fair and balanced.
And just 263 days until you get to cast your vote and decide that George W. Bush deserves a second term.
John Kerry may wish he'd taken off his microphone before trashing the GOP. His coarse description of his opponents has cast a lurid glow over the campaign.
Presidential hopeful John Kerry got caught on tape
in some candid remarks that he didn't want everybody to hear, but we did.
John Kerry has been lashing out at President Bush and, by extension, Republicans for a long time. Nothing new there.
You see a picture of George Bush, you expect to hear organ music that would come out of a church swelling, the backlit head, you know, the Madonna look, and then a picture of John Kerry flashes, and you hear the devil's voice. This is the devil. He is evil.
Is it true, the reports that we're seeing, did John Kerry on the slopes curse out a Secret Service agent? Is that true?
I think Kerry needed this vacation. He was showing some fatigue. I mean, the crooks...
Only 217 days and counting until George W. Bush is reelected.
They're saying John Kerry looks French.
John Kerry looks French.
Kerry, the man who would be America's first French president.
When you're at war, there are two models. You have the Churchill, Reagan, Thatcher, Tony Blair, George Bush model, or you have the McGovern, Jimmy Carter, French John Kerry model.
Are the Republicans going to effectively be able to make Kerry French? Good afternoon, everybody, or as John Kerry would say, bonjour.
French are thinkers, and that doesn't go into the code of the American presidency. I mean, you know, the French, the thinker, le penseur, Rodin, I mean, they think, and they never do anything with their thinking. I believe that Mr. Kerry has to get away of this image if he wants to win. Right now, I think he's not in the American archetype. Why? He's on vacation. If the archetype is to take action and you are taking vacation, I mean, you're definitely not, you don't fit the code, you are off code. And
Mr.
so that's why you have,
yes. Thank you very much. You are hereby invited back.
Every week, there's so many ways you can play the economic story. At Fox News, it's only the upbeat. They select statistics that prove the economy's moving up, and thank God for President Bush for doing it.
The economy, of course, shaping up to be one of the hot-button issues in this presidential campaign.
Polls show the economy is shaping up to be a major issue of the presidential campaign.
They're all amazed at the strength of the economy and how it's picking up day by day.
I think the economy's growing, and I think it's going to get stronger.
The economy is very, very strong right now. It continues to get strong.
The economy will roar in 04. Every sign indicates
Roar in 04? That sounds like a Bush.
204 days until George W. Bush is reelected.
We're creating jobs. Good, high-paying jobs for the American citizens.
The president goes to Charlotte to talk about job training. Buoyed by the 300,000 job figure last week, he can boast his policies are working.
New jobs grew last month at the fastest rate in 4 years.
With the news this morning, 308,000 new jobs were created last month. They're drinking the Maalox right out of the gallon bucket at the Kerry campaign.
What this Kerry plan will do is punish successful companies, and that's bad.
If you want to destroy jobs in this country, you raise taxes. John Kerry's plan to bring millions of jobs back to America. Well, someone here says, watch out. Kerry's plan will end up killing more jobs instead.
I said previously that the market was neutral on John Kerry. I think that was utterly wrong. I think the market is down on John Kerry.
When the market goes down, one of the things you often hear is the market is worried about a Kerry victory.
Then out comes a poll showing Kerry with a 4 or 5 point lead. Down goes the market big time.
And how they know that the market went down because everybody had Kerry on their mind as opposed to everyone was worried about interest rates, or everyone looked at the earnings figures and thought they weren't as good as projected. But they love to pretend that they're Karnak the Magnificent and they can read the mind of the market.
Sure, we got terror threats, gas prices sky high, but Forbes says the economy's still strong and getting stronger every day.
There you have it, 196 days till we re-elect George W.
Wait, the election's over? All right, thanks for letting me know.
It's almost there.
I think Fox News, of all our subsidiaries, had the best increase in profits.
What makes Murdoch particularly dangerous is that he's foremost a politician. And he will use his immense media power to shape the content, especially the news, that furthers his interests and those of his allies, including the conservative Republican community. After all, Fox News is nothing more than a 24/7 political ad for the GOP.